For many kids of the 60s and early 70s who rocked out to the psychedelic sensation of British superstar rock band Cream, the chance to relive one of the most innovative periods in music history is simply not to be missed. About to tour Australia and New Zealand with their Music of Cream 50th anniversary tour are the direct descendants of the band's original blues, jazz and rock stars. Malcolm Bruce, son of Jack, Kofi Baker, son of Ginger, and Will Johns, nephew of Eric Clapton, will be joined by Deep Purple bass guitarist Glenn Hughes for what promises to be a series of absolutely sensational shows. I'm very pleased to have Will Johns on the line now. Hi there, Will, and welcome to Australia.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
I'm very fine, thank you. What an incredible story it is that you guys are out there performing Cream music, given who you are. Can you tell us how it all came about in the first place?
Yeah, sure. Well, I've known Malcolm for quite a long time, and Kofi a little bit more recently. And we've been doing a few tours and stuff in the UK and the guys in the States and stuff, and then more recently, we got in touch with the tour company based in New Zealand, and they invited us to come over, and it was such an amazing opportunity that we just couldn't deny it.
But how long have you been playing the music of Cream? Obviously, you've grown up with it. When did you first come together with the guys to say, okay, we're going to take Cream music on the road?
Well, actually, Malcolm and Kofi had been touring a little bit before I was involved, and when they came to England, I think it was in 2013, they invited me to a show to come and sit in and jam with them, and we really hit it off and made some fireworks, and so really from that point on, we were keen all to work together.
And what does the older generation think of you doing this?
Oh, well, I have to say that we do generally get a really good response, and I think because we play the music quite true to its intention, and by that I mean, by the improvisation and the interactiveness between the players, that it really gets some great results, and we try and take people back, who were perhaps at those original concerts, and give them a little reminder and a little taste of something that they haven't seen for, quite some years now.
How was it for you growing up in the thick of rock royalty? All three of you have just been in the midst of it forever.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, for me personally, it was, in the first part of my life and just into my teens when I spent the most time, especially with Eric. And I guess for me, really, it was just like, any other uncle. We used to go fishing and do stuff like that, and it just kind of seemed normal at the time. I guess it just seems more and more incredible as the years go on.
So you sort of have that sense now of how lucky you were to have that inspiration in your life, yeah? Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, definitely gave us a good grounding in this kind of music. We're musicians, and our dedication to playing true is really strong.
I read somewhere that Eric Clapton actually showed you your first riff on the guitar, and that was Crossroads. Did that have a massive impact on you? Did that start off that guitar phase or that creative streak in you?
Yeah, I think it definitely did. I started to show an interest in guitar from about the age 14, 15. In fact, I think I started on the drums when I'd go to Eric's house. He had a lovely studio at the bottom of the house where there was a drum kit set up and a ghetto blaster, and I used to put on my favorite tapes at the time and bash the hell out of the drums, usually at about 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning, which, didn't impress Eric very much. And he came down one day and said, don't you think you should learn a proper instrument? So I kind of took that to mean the guitar. Of course, there'd be some electric guitars lying around, and so at 6 o'clock in the morning, playing an electric guitar that wasn't plugged in was a little bit more conducive to Eric's morning.
Hey, Will, you say that there are a few famous men that you call uncle. Tell us about them.
I was lucky enough to meet George Harrison, who was my auntie's first husband, and he was just such a lovely guy. Obviously, sadly, he's passed now. And I also have another uncle, Mick Fleetwood, and growing up, Mick just seemed incredibly tall, taller than a tree. He used to threaten us kids with the high jump. He would be naughty. I don't think any of us really knew what the high jump was, but you knew that you didn't want one.
That's very funny. So what do you think it is about Cream's music that made them the blueprint for every supergroup to follow?
Wow. I think it was just the crystallization of a number of different things. At that time, it was such an exciting time, groundbreaking time. And they really were just at the top of their game. And of course, I'd say that almost every young guitarist since then, in the past 50 years, has learned those riffs. Sunshine of Your Love is a staple for any young guitarist learning how to play.
Yeah. Yeah, but they were doing stuff so differently then, weren't they? I mean, there was the blues guitar of Eric and the jazz skewed rhythm section of Ginger and Jack. So the combination of those different backgrounds, I suppose, was brand new at the time and led to all that extraordinary music and wonderful songs that hold up still very much today.
Well, that's right. All those different aspects and elements come together. I mean, you could have a tea bag and some sugar and some water, and they're fine elements all on their own. But you put those things together, and maybe a splash of milk, you got a cup of tea.
Yeah. So, are you guys as good as the masters?
No way. We do our thing as best we can, and I'd like to think that we do it honestly and we work hard at it. But how can you possibly touch that?
Yeah, I did read that you pride yourself on having great synergy between you lot too.
Yeah, that's right. You can't buy that, and you can't just make that up. It's I wonder if it's somewhat genetic.
It's quite amazing, really, what you've got going on. And for this tour of Australia and New Zealand, you're bringing in Glenn Hughes and Robin Ford to help out.
That's right. Really excited to be working with these guys who are really, masters at what they do. Robin, just such an amazing guitarist, and Glenn, apart from being an amazing bass player, just has, just one of the most amazing voices in rock today.
So what are we going to see on the tour, Will? Or what are we going to hear, more to the point?
Well, I think that you'll hear all of your favorite Cream songs. And we're definitely going to put on the show of a lifetime. We're very excited about it and very committed to entertaining the audiences and having a real good time.
I have to tell you that friends of mine in the States, when I told them that I was speaking to you, said, when are they coming to California? Any plans?
Yeah, we do. We do have plans for that. We're talking about that, and all being well, and fingers crossed, and with a little bit of help from our prospective American audiences, we should be out there next year, please God.
Excellent. I'll let him know. Will Johns, lovely to talk to you. I'm very excited to see the concert myself. I can't believe that it's been 50 years since that first Cream album came out. Makes me feel extremely old. And I think it's absolutely awesome that you guys, as the younger generation, the descendants of rock royalty, are doing it all for them. I think I read also that you don't call yourselves a tribute band, but rather a band that's playing tribute to the music, and I think that's incredibly apt. Thanks so much for your time today.
Oh, bless you. Thank you for your kind words, and thank you for having us on.